enter the childhood home of our most brutal mass murderer.
The home has been rigged up with several cameras, but for the most part, the audience will see only what you see.
Let the dangertainment begin.
It's going to be the biggest battleground in the history of our sport. The biggest match in pro wrestling history.
Okay. Oh, I got it. This is better. Last word. I dig music. Woo! I'm on track!
As the biggest night in the history of this great organization.
Well, that's right, folks. It's me. It's the THC DOGG back with the I to the double ZY, Mr. Izzy. Hi, this is WMW Podcast, and we are here as we are every week to talk about the things that we love, the three great passions in life, including the great Muda. We love the great Muda.
Take the mist.
So what's going on, Izzy? What's good, my man?
Oh, man, everything's good, man. I can't complain about a thing, man. Another day above ground's better than one below it, you know?
Absolutely. I want to give a quick well wishes to my good friend Robin Smith. She had a little bit of an accident at work earlier this week, fell off a ladder and broke her heel, which I can't imagine is any kind of fun.
Right.
So she's at home recuperating. So hopefully she'll be...
Robin Smith's work name was?
Rockin' Robin, former WWF Women's Champion, had the match, an amazing match with Sensational Sherry in Paris, France, to win that title, and held on to it until they retired the belt.
Right.
So great human being, one of the nicest people you'd ever want to meet. And certainly at some point we're going to have her come on and talk about a lot of things from her life and her career. And that book is available now, folks. You can pre-order it at BobbyMurphyBooks.com. And it is definitely, if you are a wrestling fan, if you are a fan of women's wrestling, if you are a survivor who has lived through a horrific life of abuse and everything like that, I mean, this book, it really, it gets you right in the cockles, man. It really does. It's a strong, powerful story. And I recommend that everybody read it, not just because I'm involved with the process, but because it really honestly is a good book. So a little bit of good news today in the field of marijuana. They recently released the survey, the results of a study that they did in Japan. And they found that marijuana is not a gateway drug.
Really?
Duh!
But honestly, I think trauma is the gateway drug more than anything. And if we want to, if we're talking about the root of the problems and trying to get to the root of the issues, a lot of times with other substances, other chemicals and whatnot, I believe trauma would be the gateway. So.
Sure. Well, according to the study, they said that more than half of Japanese cannabis users, marijuana is their third drug behind alcohol and tobacco.
Are they allowed to actually use in Japan now?
I believe they are, or at least they're working that way. Let's see.
I know
been going on.
If I remember correctly, and I could be wrong, but Corporal Kirshner back in the day got caught with a roach and ended up doing like 90 days to 6 months Japanese prison. And in Japanese prison, most of your time is spent kneeling on a cement floor, contemplating and thinking about your crime. So it's pretty harsh punishment. Yeah. But,
well, they said,
I'm sorry, go ahead.
They said here that 10.4% of everyone that they was involved in the study reported experiences with drugs beyond marijuana.
Okay.
So 90% of people in Japan who they studied, marijuana was it. And quite honestly, I've never done heroin. I've never done cocaine. I've never done any of the hard drugs like that. Quite honestly, because I don't need to. Like I'm a happy guy. I like marijuana. It balances well with my psych meds. So, it works out. But I mean, I've known meth heads. I've known, cocaine addicts. I've known heroin addicts, and I don't want that part of my life. I don't want a part of my life to be all nasty and sweaty and, Yeah,
a little bit of my background is my brother died of an overdose. Okay. And it started with pain pills. He was had carpal tunnel syndrome, and somehow he was prescribed Oxycontin. And he had become, of course, addicted to these pain meds. And when he couldn't get the pain meds, he ended up turning to heroin, and he died of an overdose.
Right.
And myself, I don't use any pain meds whatsoever besides marijuana. I get injections in my neck and I get injections in my spine because it can't be fixed.
Right.
If it could be fixed, I'd have it fixed. So I wouldn't, But that's my personal background when it comes to and why I don't.
Absolutely.
Because especially with the pain pills for myself, if I take one, I could always justify it because of the condition my body's in. So I don't even want to go down that path until it's the absolute last resort.
Sure. Totally understandable.
I'm same way with the marijuana, and I'll explain when we go into our review on that here in a bit.
So that's good news, because really that's one of the stigmas that got attached to it. It leads to other things. And I'm like, I've been smoking weed for 25 years, 30 years now. Probably 30 years off and on, and the last 15 to 16 pretty regularly. But never in my life, and it's been offered to me, I mean, for Christ's sake, my fucking father offered me cocaine, so it's like it's not like I haven't had access to it. It's just, I look at it like I'm good with where I'm at. I don't need anything else fucking with the chemical balances in my head.
Right.
So that's a good news, and the good news out of Japan. Also today, good news out of the state of Delaware. The first recreational marijuana shops are now officially open for business.
Right on.
So way to go, Delaware. 21 and older, 10 locations throughout the state. So good for them. I think they're realizing, and a lot of the states are realizing, especially, and I wonder if the acceptance of marijuana, the legalization of marijuana, has anything to do with the rise that we've seen in like prescription drug addiction. Like, are they, because the way I look at it, like if I had a problem and I had a bunch of people hooked on, like you say, let's say they're hooked on Oxycontin, and this marijuana can do the same thing that the Oxycontin can do. Well, Oxycontin's legal. Get it from a doctor. But now if you legalize marijuana, you've got a chance of getting that person off the oxys when they no longer really need them.
Right.
And getting them switched over to something that, while may not be as powerful, the fact of the matter is they don't need the powerful. Like I would imagine that like perfect example, being Robin just recently fell off the ladder, broke her foot. Now, are they going to give her painkillers? Yes, I'm sure they will. But is she going to stay hooked on those painkillers for the rest of her life? Absolutely not.
Right.
Because she has alternatives. So I think maybe, and I'd be very curious to look at the timing on how all that stuff is lined up over the last decade, because it seems to me, I mean, and you've been fighting this fight longer than I have. The legalization of marijuana was a fight. It was a fight. It was a fight. It was a fight. And then all of a sudden it started to become a little easier. And then they passed medicinal. And I'm very curious to see the timeline between, because I got a feeling if you look into those numbers, if you look into that timeline, you're going to see a correlation of increase in painkiller prescriptions, increase in legalization of marijuana to go along with it. Hopefully we'll be able to get to a point where, we can get rid of the really hard stuff. I mean, Oxy is terrifying. I know people who were hooked on Oxy for years. And, like my friend of mine, she ran into some, I won't go into all the details, ran into some domestic issues and got injured. And they had her on fucking OxyContin for like 5 years. And it's like, nobody needs to be on a painkiller that long. And if you're still in pain, go back to the doctor. Something's really wrong.
And that's why I talk about getting it fixed.
Yeah.
If you get what's wrong fixed, then you're no longer there's no longer the need for it. And also remember that when these were put out, they were deemed safe.
Mm-hmm.
The same as the doctor recommended cigarettes back in the day. It was safe.
4 out of 5 doctors recommend Winston's. It's like, really?
Right. And,
I love those old Flintstones, the black and white Flintstone commercials where Fred and Barney are smoking Winston's.
Well, I've lived long enough to where you could smoke in your hospital room. Back in the day.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It's crazy what that sounds. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Doctors and fucking I've seen doctors would come into the fucking room with a cigarette in their mouth, like, oh, let's take a look and see what's going on. What the fuck is going on with you, brother?
Right. Right.
But yeah, I mean, you and I, man, we're from a different generation. Like I have kids. I have 2 kids. I had 2 kids. And the car seat that was good for the first kid was utter garbage when the second kid came along. Like it was the word, like, oh my God, I can't believe you. Okay, so 2 years ago, this was the best and greatest car seat in the history of the world. No child was ever going to get hurt. It was all good. But because we're 2 years down the road now and people have, they redesigned it, please, it's just sit in my mother's lap. In a Chevy Vega with no seatbelt because it was the goddamn 70s.
We rode in the back of pickup trucks.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. On a highway. On a fucking highway.
No shit, man. I distinctly remember this in my youth. So.
Oh yeah, it's insane. And nowadays, like, forget it. They'd arrest you. They'd throw you in jail. And it's like, it's amazing how any of us survived. Like our whole generation. How are we still alive? It's like it's what I see the other day. It was like Gen X kids, we were feral. Like we'd go out, we'd get up, we'd have breakfast, we'd go out, and then at the end of the day, we'd come home. The weaker ones never made it home. They ended up on America's, Unsolved Mysteries or shit. So you got to, just be careful out there, folks. But it's not like that anymore, because now you can literally track your child no matter where they go. Right. And boy, howdy again, glad I did not grow up in the age of cell phones.
Wow.
Just saying. Just saying. All right. So let's, what are we smoking on today, my friend? What do you loaded up?
Of course, we've got it from the Flower Bowl, 315 Inkster Road in Inkster, Michigan. And right now I'm smoking on a hybrid. It's a 50-50 of Red Velvet Pie. And we were talking about the different effects. And luckily enough, I have the effects listed right here for Red Velvet Pie. It may relieve chronic pain, depression, loss of appetite, and stress. So, again, red velvet pie, it's a hybrid. The flavors are berry, cherry, fruity, herbal, kind of spicy and sweet. And it's a classic mix of cherry Thai and Burmese Thai strains. So
Nice.
that's what I'm working with right now. That, and then I've got a live resin cart right here. That helps get it over the edge. And again, if anybody, I don't know if anybody wants free marijuana, free weed, but if you're looking for some free weed, I'm going to tell you how to get it. You go over to the Flower Bowl, again, 315 Inkster Road in Inkster, Michigan, and you go in and you see a guy by the name of the Giant. Should be easy to find. Anyhow,
in my experience, people named the Giant usually are.
yeah. Or the half, they call him Tiny. But so you tell the Giant that we sent you, THC Dogg, your Uncle Izzy. We sent you in there to go ahead and fill out a review on Google, and they'll give you some free weed, a free pre-roll right there on the spot. So again, go to the Flower Bowl, 315 Inkster Road. Talk to the Giant and tell him we sent you.
Right on, right on. So I've been working on this gas and glue cart, and I just picked up an eighth of something. I can't even remember whatever it is. I opened the thing and was like, holy shit! All right then. I love that. That's my favorite part of getting marijuana, new weed, is opening opening that little jar up or whatever, and being like. Yeah, that's good. Love it. One of my favorite things is kind of like as an author, it's that same feeling when your book finally arrives for the first time and you open up the box and it's all like, that's what it's been like. So yeah, it's a good day. I don't know how's the weather by you. I know it's finally cooling down over here.
Yeah, we've got a high of 76 today here in Michigan, and that's awesome. Before we got here, I had done some mowing and cleaning up around the house out in the yard, and
nice.
We have a bonfire this weekend because it's not going to be too hot out. So
awesome. Very cool. Very cool. All right, we're going to go ahead and take a quick commercial break, and we will be right back. Yes, indeed, my friends. Check out BobbyMurphyBooks.com and make sure you get your pre-order in for Worthless, the Robin Smith story. Guys, really, it's an amazingly powerful book, and you don't want to miss out on that one. The funny thing about that video is, and we all know the internet wrestling community is the hot or cold. They are who they are. But this is one of those instances where someone who thought they were an authority on the matter had no idea what the hell they were talking about. When I played that video for Robin, she was like, "That's really good." She's like, "I really like that music. What is it?" And I'm like, wasn't that your entrance music?" She's like, "I've never heard that music before in my life." And that music came from online to somebody who posted it as Rockin' Robin's theme song. And she's like, "I have no idea what the hell that is. I've never heard it before." So folks, always check your sources, double check your sources when you're dealing with the internet, because obviously shit goes wrong sometimes. So musically today, we've got a couple of interesting acts. the band that I picked actually, sadly, isn't a band anymore. They were 4 guys. They were in Norwalk, Connecticut, where I grew up and where I used to live. And I met them one night. I was DJing at a bar, and they had come in to play a live show at the bar. And I just got, bullshitting with them and everything, and just really nice guys, and we hung out and, really became a fan of their music. And they would come around to the different bars in the area, and I'd be like, oh, I'm going to go, I saw them a bunch of times, hung out with them. And then, people grow up, and, life takes precedence, especially because now you're talking about, getting married and having children and that whole thing. And there's not always time anymore, to live the rock and roll lifestyle. So it's probably been about 15 years since I've seen these guys. But they just had a really, really cool sound. And Chris LaCava, the bass player, is also, he holds advanced belts in different martial arts. He's also an acupuncturist. So all around good guys. Joey and Vin, also amazing human beings. And the revolving lineup of singers. See, singers for Exit were almost like drummers for Spinal Tap. They just kept disappearing. Like the guy who recorded the vocals that we're about to hear after the album came out, homeboy just literally disappeared. Nobody had any idea where he went, and like nobody saw him for like 5 years, and then he popped up again. It was so weird. So this is Exit. This is audio only, but this is Exit with Badass.
Okay, rolling in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
The passion held me longer, but now I'm so much stronger. I'm seeing things I never saw before. My needing left me bleeding, and now I'm superseding anything you ever said before. I'm walking while you're talking. I'm tired of all your squawking. Your pretty pink don't do it for me now. I'm flying while you're crying. To stay here would be dying. A slave no more to you. Silly game. I cannot be your puppet anymore. You'll never know what love can do when you feel it inside your heart. Your whole existence is a passionate crime. Without any reason, without any rhyme.
Very cool.
All right. Yeah, those guys, man, good bunch of dudes. And from what I understand, they're all out there living their best lives. They're all doing really well. A couple of them got married, had a kid or two. So I miss those guys, man. They were, that they were very relevant during that very interesting period of my life. So we've got our little swing booty now. Tell me about that, my man.
Okay. Let me give a little history as well, and this ties into my life as well. In 1989, I had gotten my GED from Pine Knot Job Corps in Pine Knot, Kentucky, and because of that, I was offered a deal to go to college and get a college degree in Knoxville, Tennessee, if I went through the Job Corps program there.
Okay.
Now, I happened to be walking down the Knoxville UT strip one night, and I seen the lights on a small stage and just a stool sitting there and people just looking at this empty stage. And I was curious. I went in, I said, what's going on? And the person who happened to be hosting, he said, it's an open mic. And I was like, okay, well, who's playing? And he said, we don't have anybody that wants to start the show. And I said, well, do you have a guitar? And they found me an acoustic guitar, and so I opened the show.
All right.
And what happened, though, is one of the gentlemen that was sitting in the crowd, his name was Christian Lang. And Christian Lang, he's somebody who had put together an actual directory for artists and musicians in the Knoxville scene. And he had done that for quite a few years. And he's also one of the most gifted, talented photographers out there. He has done so much wonderful work. But understand that being a Job Corps kid was really looked down upon by the city. We were the street kids. We were the forgotten kids. So much so that the first woman ever to be put on death row in Tennessee happened to come from the same Job Corps center that I did. She murdered another student there. But that's a little bit of my background. But anyhow, Christian Lang, when he had seen me perform on this open mic, he gave me his card and he said, listen, man, if you need anything at all, come see me. Okay.
All right.
And this gentleman opened up a whole new world for this street kid, man. And he tied me into the art community and the music community of Knoxville, Tennessee. And again, for just a street kid, man, for somebody to open up that kind of door for me. And
hell yeah.
To give me access to so many things that I would have never had access to unless my son's legitimately named after this guy. My son's first name is Christian, named after Christian Lang, because how much this man did for me. So back to point. Being so tied into the art community and everything, he's a very, very talented violinist. And he has this band called Swing Booty. Okay, and Swing Booty has got Adam Friedman on the guitar, Christian Lang, of course, on violin, Les Cunningham on guitar, Mike Benjamin on piano, and Sean Manatone on drums. Manatone, on drums. And Brian Varner is their vocalist for this. And again, this is my friend Christian Lang on violin, and this is Swing Booty.
All righty.
Grab your coat, get your.
Ooh.
All right, that was weird. Let's try that again.
Oh, okay.
Don't know. Very weird. Hold on.
Grab your coat,
stare your feet to the sunny side of the street. Can't you hear that pitter-pat? And that happy tune is your stir. Life can be so sweet on the sunny side of the street. I used to walk in the shade with those blues on parade. Now I'm not afraid. This rover crossed over. If I never had a cent, I'd be rich as Rockefeller, with gold dust at my feet on the sunny side of the street.
Having some technical difficulties there. Well,
Oh, what the hell's going on there?
So anybody check out Christian Lang, check out Swing Booty. I don't know if we glitched the Matrix there by playing that or what.
Yeah, I don't know. That's really weird. That's really weird.
So
all right.
Everybody check out Christian Lang and Swing Booty when you get a chance. We'll have a link in the description.
Definitely. All right, let's see if we can get a commercial to run properly. Hold on.
Hi, I'm Cliffy, and I'm here today to tell you about an amazing new product that I got that you want, that you need in your life. It's called Ninja Vanish. If you're like me, you get yourself in a lot of sticky situations. How you gonna get out of them? Who's got time? Who wants to deal with that? You need Ninja Vanish. Here's how it works. You're in the situation, you gotta get out of the situation, bam! Hey, where'd I go? You don't know, and more importantly, no one else knows. You piss your pants on your friend's couch? Ninja Vanish! You fart in an elevator? You gotta get out of there! Ninja Vanish! You walk into a gay bar? Ninja Vanish! Unless you're gay. You get in a fight with a hooker? She bite your tongue off? Ninja Vanish! You reference old things that aren't even funny no more? Ninja Vanish! You pull out too late. 9 months later, you got a problem on your hands.
Baby, I have something really important to tell you. I'm pregnant. God damn it!
Ninja Vanish! Your mom catches you jacking off.
What are you doing?
I'm using the bathroom!
Well, I'm coming in there.
No?
Ninja Vanish. You wake up next to a big girl in the morning that you don't know how you got there?
You was a minotaur last night.
She's got a dick. Ninja Vanish. Hey, and for the ladies, you can use it as well. It ain't just for us guys. You fart while your boyfriend's going down on you. Ninja Vanish. Alright, now tell you what I'm gonna do. 'Cause we can't do this all day. I'm gonna give you a month's supply of Ninja Vanish for $29.95. It's made in Thailand, so you know it's good. You also get this, the blow phone. A phone with a breathalyzer. You'll never drunk dial again. $40 value, absolutely free in the next 15 minutes. Hey, you've tried the other guys, now dip out with the best. Ninja Vanish.
Oh, the commercial worked.
Now, here's what amuses me about that. And it used to, I mean, and they still do it today, but back in the 80s and 90s, it was almost like always when they would advertise a product on TV like that.
Yeah.
And they'd be like, oh, you have 15 minutes to call. How do they fucking know? They don't know because they don't know where you are and they don't know from where you're, you know, like with time zones is. But I get it. It's that sense of urgency. It's the FOMO. But yeah, folks, I mean, come on. How would they possibly know, you know, what time of day it is that you're watching this? Like, do they just restart the timer every time it it airs. Like, that just doesn't make any sense to me.
Right.
So
impulse buying is they try to tap into that.
Oh, sure. Especially like you're up at 2 o'clock in the morning. You're watching, like there's several things that I almost bought from TV back in my insomnia days. So, well, there has been a lot of mixed responses this week to the passing of Hulk Hogan. And it's a weird kind of thing, because when someone dies, we as a people tend to want to canonize them.
Yeah.
Want to don't pay attention to all the bad things, just focus on the good things. And I understand why people would want to do that, but at the same time, did I like everything? I mean, first off, just for the sake of truth, I was never a huge Hogan fan when I was a kid. I was more of a smaller wrestler, Bret Hart, Dynamite Kid. That big tag team fan back in the day. So Hogan was there, but Hogan wasn't why I was paying to see these shows. And I hear like, oh, Hulk Hogan's a racist. You know what?
Get up! Get the fuck! Get up! Would you please get the? Oh, it's a dead horse. It's a dead horse here. I'm kicking a dead horse. I'll be
The industry, for the most part, has been what you would expect from the industry. It's the fans that are, going back and forth. But, at the end of the day, he changed wrestling forever, and there's no arguing that. Good, bad, indifferent. If it wasn't for Hulk Hogan, there'd be no wrestling. So, what do we got today from Johnny Saint?
Johnny Saint, man, this guy was a trendsetter, over a 50-year career coming out of the world of sport in England. So many independent guys and guys that have moved on in professional wrestling to the highest degrees studied this man, from Chris Hero to Claudio Castagnoli. This gentleman, he set the standard, Johnny Saint. 10 times world lightweight champion. And ironically enough, weird enough, he got into the business because Billy Robinson's mom cut his mom's hair. And Billy Robinson.
I don't love the wrestling business,
Crazy enough, he was already involved in boxing, but his mom happened to get her hair cut by Billy Robinson's mom, who is just an absolute legendary British wrestler as well. And they introduced the two, and there you have it. That's how Johnny Saint got involved into the wrestling business.
So
later on went on to be the head coach of British or Great Britain's version of NXT. So
okay. Oh, okay. Sure.
Yeah, he developed a lot of the guys that came out of that program as well. So Johnny Saint.
Right on. We've got some highlights from Johnny Saint, but let me ask you this, because you mentioned his name. What do you think it was that held Chris Hero back? I mean, because he had all the skills. I mean, he was a great worker up until a certain point. He was in great shape. And did you ever work him? Did you ever
Okay, I'll give you. All right, let me give you a quick lesson here. Okay. Mm-hmm. And this is something that I tell anybody who's not involved in the business that uses the lingo. I worked with him.
Right.
We worked the fans. Okay. So, believe it or not, the first feud that he ever had in wrestling was with me.
Nice.
And, I seen that he had a load of talent right from the start. So, our feud or our series of matches happened in 2001, I believe. And I think he's a hell of a talent. the reason why because talent doesn't matter. Being able to be a technical wrestler doesn't matter. It didn't matter. It was if you fit their mold, if you could be produced in their idea of, because they proved many times that you take anybody off the street, I guess, so I think that it didn't hold him back to a degree because he's performed all over the world.
Oh, sure.
He's fortunately enough been able to do it on his terms as well so that's a blessing in itself. So I think the only thing that held Chris Hero back was he was too talented, and they didn't know how to package that. It wasn't a skill that was needed at that time.
See, and that's the crazy thing, because what you're looking for, it's because what they're looking for changes. And that's the thing I would imagine would be frustrating is, let's say you talk to JR. Let's say JR was still running, talent and everything, or Johnny Ace, and you do your dark matches, and they tell you at that time, like they would give you advice, right? Like they would probably this, try to work on this, try to improve that. And then by the time it comes around again, they've switched what they're looking for. So all of the advice that they gave you to improve yourself to what their standard was 6 months ago, now has changed.
How much or how little wrestling actually matters in a wrestling program now.
Oh, yeah. Especially now.
How much time is actually spent in the physical act of wrestling?
Yeah. Yeah, you got a 2-hour show, you've got 14 minutes of actual wrestling, and the rest is highlights and and I understand you need to do that stuff to build feuds, but it shouldn't, they did that perfectly fine on Superstars, for Christ's sake. They used the interview segments to build the feuds, and they had matches and going on, and nowadays you don't get that. And I think that as an independent worker, I would imagine that when the company comes into town, like back in the 80s and 90s when they were still doing squash matches and stuff, I would imagine that for the local guys it was an exciting opportunity, because like I saw the match, Foley's match where he worked with DiNucci against the Bulldogs. Right. And I mean, they kicked the shit out of Mick, from what Mick said, but he saw that opportunity. They were in town. They needed local guys to fill in the ring. So for me, I could see that, but now they don't do that anymore. Even the shows, even the B shows, like Main Event and stuff like that, you're still talking, recognizable talent.
And the thing of it is as well, all these matches are almost 50-50 to a degree.
Yeah.
And my mindset and the way that I think, how do you show somebody truly coming up the ladder?
You can't.
You like, I'll give you the example of Tommy Rich. Tommy Rich at one time was the biggest babyface in this country.
Oh yeah.
But the first match that he had in Georgia, the place that he ended up being the spotlight, he got ate up by Abdullah the Butcher in a minute and a half.
Not a good look.
The next week, he got ate up by Abdullah the Butcher in 3 minutes.
Okay.
The week after that, he got ate up by Abdullah the Butcher in 5 minutes. And then the week after that, he said, if you just put me back in the ring with that man one more time, I think I could do something.
Right.
And he hit him with one punch, and the place went nuts. And then he got guzzled again. But he got that one punch. And they built for how many weeks?
Right.
For him to just get that one punch.
Mm-hmm. And the payoff.
That's what I mean about how you build. Build, because especially with all the time that they have with television now, you could actually truly build people.
Oh yeah, but they don't, and that's the thing that kills me. It's 5 to 6 hours of TV a week, at least. You've got all the time in the world to build talent.
Right.
I mean, and people, recently with Goldberg retiring, it's always been the same argument with Goldberg. But the fact of the matter is this: Goldberg was handed a gimmick. He did the very best that he could with it, and the fans were so tired of what was going on. This is new. This is exciting. This happens to look almost exactly like Stone Cold Steve Austin, which is what I thought the first time I saw Goldberg on my TV.
But it didn't require any overproduction as well.
Nope.
It was gritty, and it was something that people could grasp into or grab onto.
Oh yeah.
As opposed to something that was overly produced, a lot of gift wrap,
like Glacier.
And you've seen what happened, though.
Yeah. And not knocking him at all. He was a fine worker, but he got given that gimmick, which was goofy to begin with, and then they pitched him, and then I don't remember if he got hurt or what happened, but then there was a period, like he was supposedly on his way, and then there was a period where we didn't hear anything, and then they picked up again. I think he got hurt. But that entrance alone cost thousands and thousands of dollars with the lights and the fake snow and everything.
Right.
Goldberg had some music and some pyro.
Mm-hmm.
That was it. And it's like, well, he anybody could be given. No, and this is the thing, and I've been thinking about this for a while, is they're like, oh, well, anybody could do that. No, I disagree.
Right.
Goldberg was able to do what he was able to do because of his look. He looked intense. He looked like he would get in there and kick your ass. You couldn't have put that gimmick on the Disco Inferno. And no offense to Disco Inferno whatsoever, but Disco Inferno is not going to have a 173 match win streak.
Well, it goes along with the Ultimate Warrior as well.
Yes.
You strap the rocket to their back, but they have to have the charisma to be able to carry it as well. They might not be the greatest wrestler, but they have to have the charisma. And again, all it's about is production and selling tickets.
Yep.
Can we produce something that sells tickets? And if they naturally bite onto something without all the pre-packaging, and then you've got to have enough sense to ride it.
Oh yeah, and I don't think that WCW knew what they had with Bill at first. Like, he's a big guy, he's got a good look. Sure, he's only trained for like 6 weeks or whatever, but let's get him out there. And I mean, and I'm later on there was always the accusations of, oh, they're pumping in sound, crowd sounds and everything. But you know what? That might have been true for later, but late 97, early 98, when it first started picking up steam, my man was over.
Well, not legitimately. Only that, but we're still talking about a production. That's what gets, So what they pumped in sound. They are producing a television show. There was laugh tracks on comedies. Okay.
Oh, sure, absolutely.
There was a live crowd there. There was a laugh track, and that's what gets lost. I think is they're producing a television show. Yes. That's it.
Now, the one thing that has been true, at least from what I've seen, is that, especially with this last match, I guess his farewell speech got cut off because they ran out of time on NBC. So he was kind of pissed off about that. But at the same time, a lot of people were like, dude, they gave you something that nobody asked for. Nobody wanted to see him fight Gunther. He was 58 years old, 59 years old, whatever. Last time we saw him, he almost killed The Undertaker. We have no desire. Nobody was asking for another Goldberg match. Nobody I knew was asking for another Goldberg match. Especially against the world champion. I'm sorry, what did you do to get a world title shot? You've been gone for it.
But that's also a statement on their ability to build stars at this moment as well.
True.
Because if they had the ability or they had the star power right now, why? Yeah,
they wouldn't need to.
Exactly, and that would be my point of it. They have all these hours, but they think they're going to produce more.
Yeah.
And this guy has more star power than anybody that they have on their roster right now. That would be that would be my takeaway from that, if anything.
That sounds, yeah, absolutely. I mean, and the weird thing is the push that they gave Gunther with the IC belt. I mean, it took 30 years. Honky Tonk Man held that record, or some 30 some odd years, and I think that they've got a beast on their hands with him, but it seems like sometimes they just don't know what the hell to do with him. Like he's just, I mean, because he's not traditional looking. He's got a very strange, build. His face is very like he's not a baby face at all, and I can't really ever see him being one, just because he doesn't look it. He looks he looks serious. He looks angry. He looks like he's ready to kick everybody's ass all the time, which is fine. I mean, not everybody, him as a heel, I think is perfect. I think that he can work that angle, and a lot of folks. But who do you match him up with now? I guess is the question, because they haven't spent any time building anybody else, to challenge him. And who does he wrestle?
I think what is lost again would be the admirable quality. Okay.
Yeah.
What is the admirable quality of this person? What got Steve Austin, Stone Cold Steve Austin, over?
Right.
What was his admirable quality?
The drunken Jake Roberts.
No. The babyface turn came because his admirable quality was he wouldn't give up no matter what position he was in, bleeding out to the point that he passed out.
Oh yeah.
And he wouldn't give up, and that was the admirable quality, and that was the presentation, and that's what needs to be found with these different guys. And you put a spotlight on it, a microscope on it. Sure. What got Ricky Morton over? Because he knew how to sell. And because he understood what he was putting out there.
Right.
And a lot of these guys are stumble fucking around because they have no idea. It's like you said before, they change so much and they blah, 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 blah with production or whatnot. But the same thing still works.
Right.
As I said, Ricky Morton understood that his gimmick was to make people feel.
Right.
And the way he did that was through his physical actions, through his presentation. And again, that might be something that's lost. I don't know. I can't say because I really don't watch the product.
Right. It's the problem is that there are guys there, and this never happened, and it's one of the things why Hogan left when he did. His ride there was done. The train had come to a stop. There was nothing more there at that time for Hulk Hogan.
Right.
How many hundreds of fucking times do I have to see John Cena wrestle Randy Orton in a pay-per-view main event? How many times? How many times? It's been 20 fucking years. How many times? And you know what? Cena's last match is coming up, and I'm not a betting man, but I'd bet my left one it's going to be against Randy Orton.
Again, that rewinds to the point that we were just making.
Yep.
Okay. Where's the star power? Where is that next guy?
And that's the thing too, is, and you look at it like, Kevin Nash was Oz. Ugh. Then he was Vinny Vegas. Yeah. But during that period of time, he established his name as, in the industry. So when WWF called him, thanks to Sean, he was recognizable enough that they could bring him in and grow him, which they did a great job of. People are like, oh, 95, it was a horrible year. He was the champion. It was his fault. And it's like, no, it's not just. He can only be as good as the people he's working with. And when your main events come down to Kevin Nash and fucking Mabel, sorry, and nothing against Mabel, but let's be honest, not a good worker. Definitely a gimmick above anything else, him and Mo and Oscar. But nowadays, this is the problem. Nobody was ever, the longest reigning WWF employee was, like, prior to, like, Randy Orton? Probably Howard Finkel. For Christ's sake, I mean, give it up. But the problem is they've got nowhere to go. Well, Randy Orton's going to show up in AEW? No. Not going to happen. His family's connected too much to McMahon's. So now Randy Orton is stuck here for the rest of his career, wrestling John Cena forever.
I'll explain this real quick, and I'm going to back off of it because I'm not getting paid to tell them how to do this. But you have how many different brands within that company?
Oh, yeah.
And right. So within these brands, and let's just say you have, I don't know, one really big show every year.
Right.
Just crazy concept, silly idea. And you've got all these brands, and within this, you don't have enough sense to build up one star in each one of these brands to where we have one champion.
Right.
For all of these brands to where everybody in these brands are only trying to jockey for what?
Yep.
That one position.
And that's how Flair got over. I mean, he really was a world champion. He traveled everywhere and he wrestled everybody. Was it always the same match every night? People have said so. But I
my thought is if you've got the whole year to build for everybody in each brand to try to jockey for that one position, how many fucking storylines do you actually really need?
Yeah, exactly. Instead of, oh, well, I can go after this title because then all that does, like the splitting of the titles like that. And I know that the company doesn't really give a shit about titles anymore and whatever, but the fans still care. And, the fact that there's two of them, well, one of them is automatically going to feel less than.
Well, but again, if we look at this in a fucking marketing way, having something of the Intercontinental title in one brand, then you have the United States title in the other brand.
Right.
Everybody should be jockeying for those secondary titles so they can get a shot.
Yes, exactly.
And it's so fucking simple. It really
is. It is. They just...
And the reason why I say it's so simple, because there's people out here today that can give you the statistics on their favorite players in the NFL.
Oh, yeah.
People that can give you their favorite statistics on Major League Baseball or hockey. Okay. And that same thing, they're all playing for one fucking thing. The championship at the end. It's all the build for the one event.
Yep.
Same thing. And it's not that fucking complicated. It really is.
It's not. It's not, because what you do is at the start of the year, you put, you do the rankings of everybody on your roster. You keep track of who's winning and who's losing. You sell it to the fans. So the fans, and then, like you said, you've got the world title, and then you've got the two individual titles, maybe a light heavyweight title or a hardcore title or something. Hardcore title is always fun.
You make that again, with the lightweights. You don't interact the lightweights With the heavyweights, it's the same as fucking boxing.
Right. But, I mean, that's the thing is what saved Nitro? The fucking cruiserweight division saved Nitro. And there's nobody, I have yet to meet a single person who's like, oh, no, the WCW Nitro lasted as long as it did because of this. No. Bischoff knew exactly what he was doing when he brought the luchadors in because he had seen how they worked in fucking ECW. You know, those guys could start off a card, any two of those guys, any of them, from fucking Mysterio to fucking Silver King to fucking La Parka, any of those guys could open a night with each other. And you were going to have a great opening match.
And you didn't have to bury them.
No, and you didn't have to bury them. Exactly. The WCW, I think, honestly, 97, 98 WCW Cruiserweight division, probably some of the best matches. I mean, come on, Eddie and Ray at Halloween Havoc. Good God, what a fucking clinic that was.
Right.
You know. So anyway, let's take a look here at some Johnny Saint highlights while we're talking wrestling.
Yes, it's World Title Day, all right, at heavy middleweight. But before that, this all-star promotion offers you an intriguing catch clash. Let's hear it from your MC, John Harris.
From the blue corner, over there on my right, the man whose unique style of wrestling has kept him right at the top of his division for such a long time. Of course, from Blackpool, it's world champion, Johnny Saint.
And again, Blackpool.
And
talking about William Regal and somebody who William Regal on the ring. Yeah, so this guy is such an amazing talent.
Offers the hand and trouble for just gets out. Headman misses. Saint gets the trouble. Holding press and trouble really for them this time. Oh, unlucky. Crashes his hand against the ring. 1 minute 35 seconds.
Yeah, again, before Malenko or Dean Malenko.
Nice timing. Can you do it again?
This was the guy, the man.
Oh, yes. Lovely footage.
Overball rock.
Always good at those. And a drop kick. And Rocco out of the ring. Giving those cauliflower ears of breaks a little bit of a hammering. Meantime, you forgot about the backhammer.
See, this goes back to catcher's catch can as well.
That's exactly what it is.
A lot of people don't understand
shades of George Kidd and a fullback.
It's catch the person as you can.
Saint the first, 4 in the third.
And it's smooth.
Just 1 minute 15
smooth
seconds
as hell.
round 3. The first one to Johnny Saint, the world title holder.
And again, as we said, this was the guy that most of the guys today, they actually, if they took something away wrestling wise, I look at this, take my hand.
Gray, foot cross press Saint. Quick head mare there on the way by Gray. Holding press again from the side by Gray this time, but again.
And again, what's the object of the match? The object is either pinfall or submission. That's what these guys are going for, and that's what they're producing. That's the product they're putting out.
I've been the champion since 1970.
A whole different business.
Oh, absolutely. And the UK wrestling scene has always been unique.
And go ahead.
In their presentation and their work. I mean, I remember seeing Jack Gallagher enter the Cruiserweight Classic and was just blown away by the smoothness and the locks and it's always had a unique feel to it, which is good.
They referred to it as the game of human chess.
Yeah.
Where it was one person was trying to stay one move ahead, and that's how they got the advantage, because they happened to just be one move ahead of the person they were in the ring.
So
chess.
Yeah, man. That's that's what impresses me about wrestling.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like I remember seeing Superfly come off the top of the cage for the first time. I remember seeing Muda come to Crockett and do the moonsault for the first time, and that was like the moonsault was the finisher,
right?
Not 12 moonsaults later. There was the moonsault, and that was it. Match was done, unless maybe you were like Sting or like, as part of that gimmick. But for the most part, yeah. And now you don't see that kind of work anymore, or very rarely. Some of the cruiserweights still work that ground style, but but you think about people like Eddie Guerrero, a nice balance, I think, of different styles, probably because his family traveled all over the world. I'm sure that Eddie wrestled all over the world, outside of the WWE.
Yeah.
Then you've got like I said before, Jack Gallagher came in and he did that stuff. Who were some of the other? They brought in a lot of UK talent, which I now looking back on it understand why, because they wanted to do the NXT UK thing, which I agree with, kind of, as long as the contracts weren't locked down. Because if you're only going to do tapings like once a month, which I think is what the plan was, these guys and girls still got to work. They still got to get paid. They still got bills and all that shit. So I would imagine that they were probably non-exclusive contracts, because usually, unless it's on television, the company doesn't care. As long as you're not. But they had World of Sport, and World of Sport came back around the same time, I think, as the NXT UK product did. And that's a show that definitely deserves a at-length conversation.
Yeah.
World of Sport, talk about things that changed how we view the industry. So next time we'll talk about World of Sport, because it's very important.
Yeah, I'll have to research a little more on World of Sport. I know that for quite a long time, throughout the 60s and 70s, that everything stopped in Great Britain when World of Sport was on.
Right.
That is for me as a child, and it was like you could tell when Kung Fu Theater ended, because you could hear the kids outside, "Hi-ya, hi-ya, hi-ya." Yeah. And so I imagine, as they said, when the world stopped, when World of Sport was on, so you could tell when that was on, and then when it was over. So
right on. All right, folks. Well, I think we're going to wrap that up for today. Be sure to check us out. We'll be airing on Sunday in our usual time slot, and we are back next Wednesday as well for a new episode of Resin.
And I really, really appreciate that people actually care what we've got to say, and they actually take the time out of their day. I can't express my appreciation for that enough. Thank you so much, everybody, for the likes, the shares, and checking us out. It really means the world. Thank you.
Yes, man. It is great to be able to have these conversations, and it's great to know that there are people out there who appreciate the business as much as we do, who appreciate all of these things as much as we do. And every week we're going to come in and we're going to talk about, it's a fun thing, because you were in the business for years and years. I've been a fan of the business for years and years. So it's nice to have that conversation from both sides of the ring, so to speak.
And something else I wanted to say, and this was a conversation I was having with my wife.
Mm-hmm.
You and I, we don't have to agree on everything.
No.
We don't have to have the same opinion on everything, but we can discuss it, and we can open up each other's eyes and minds to maybe a little bit of a different point of view. And it doesn't have to come from a place of anger and I'll show him. And it doesn't have to come from a place. And if anybody picks up anything from this as well, is conversations can happen without dispute. It's
oh yeah.
And that's a wonderful thing, that again, we don't have to agree on everything, and that's the wonderful thing about this and about this world. Hopefully, hopefully, maybe some notes can be taken. I don't know.
Well, it's one of those things that I think what people have failed to remember is that we do have more in common, all of us, than we do, differences. And if we can focus on the stuff that we do agree on, the things that we don't agree on, eventually they'll be solved, because through open conversation, we're able to find solutions.
That's it.
And, part of what we do here, it's just, we come out, we try to entertain, we try to educate, and we just try to let folks know that, hey, man, this is what we love. This is why we love it. And, you guys at home, watching and everything, you don't have to agree with us. It is more than valid to have an opinion of your own. I respect the fact that you have an opinion of your own. And, we're always here. We're always going to do what we do, and we're going to talk about things we love. And, we may not always agree on everything, but that's okay, because
not required.
World. Not required. Just, I've boiled all of the things down to one very simple rule: don't be a dick. That's all. Just don't be a dick.
And if somebody is, don't worry, we can fire it up and we'll work it out.
That's right. That's right. It's all good. Well, my friends, I am the THCDOGG along with the I to the double ZY, Mr. Izzy. Hi, folks. We will see you on Sunday, and then we'll see you on Wednesday for the newest episode of Resin. We're going to go out on one last commercial break, folks. We'll see you next time.
How can ordinary choices bring you face to face with death?
It was really safe.
Felicia, it's okay. Felicia, it's okay.
Hello, Mother.
I think it's so amazing that you can reach people's deceased loved ones.
Well, some people have unfinished business, and that's why they stay.
Hi. I rented out the suite online.
Pull yourself together.
Bestie.
Will you dare to open the door?
You're always going to be welcome here.